We got another one. What's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting a 1 gigabyte update for Marvel Rivals with a brand spanking new game mode launching. A highly anticipated comic book based skin is finally arriving in the game, and much more. We're gonna break it all down in today's video. Of course, guys, you know the drill. If you guys enjoyed today's Marvel Rivals update video, scroll on down and hit that thumbs up button. Thank you guys so very much for your continued kindness and your support. And without further ado, let's dive on in. So yes, indeed, we kick things off with the highly anticipated Weapon X version of Wolverine, one of the 2 skins that will be arriving in the Marvel Rivals store this upcoming Thursday when the store refreshes, and boy oh boy is it an ever exciting addition. I mean, this is one of those like iconic comic book designs that I guess technically speaking has already been adapted even in video games and movies, but still it's a very iconic story and a very iconic look for Logan. So super duper excited that we're starting to get more and more comic based skins arriving into the game. So obviously, if you're a Wolverine player, you're going to be super duper stoked to add this one to your collections. Now, as far as actual details on the skin, this will be an epic rarity skin, which means no animated nameplate. But on the bright side, of course, we know that that means that it will have a 1,600 unit price point, which is nice. So you'll be able to get the bundle for just 1,600 units. So massive W there. That, of course, will include the costume, the MVP animation, the emote, the nameplate, and the spray. Also, fun fact, this is actually going to become Wolverine's 3rd epic costume as far as the epic rarity is concerned. It also brings his grand total of costume selections to 6. He obviously already has access to the default costume, the recolor of the default costume titled the Lone Wolf. Then we got the very popular Deadpool and Wolverine variant. Then we got the Battle Pass featured Blood Berserker skin. And of course, most recently we received for free as part of the Cerebro event, Patch Wolverine, which was another really cool comic-based skin. And now you'll be able to round out that your collection with the Weapon X design. And then we jump over to everyone's favorite land shark, Jeff the Land Shark, where we're getting a legendary skin. This is actually going to be Jeff's first legendary skin in his entire collection, which is very, very interesting. Now, of course, at the time of this recording, we don't have official trailer yet for the Jeff the Land Shark skin, or more specifically, the Sunshine Land Shark, or the Krakoa Resort variant, a pretty adorable version of Jeff the Land Shark, obviously with a kind of almost like a Hawaiian print shirt inspired attire for this one. Of course, since this is a legendary, it does mean that it will run you that 2,200 units for the entire bundle, which of course will include an animated nameplate, an emote, spray, and of course the MVP screen, as well as the costume itself. So for Jeff the Land Shark players, you finally get your legendary, which by the way actually takes up Jeff's overall costume counts to a total of 5, which is kind of surprising because I don't know why. I felt like he had more costumes than that, but he does have his default look. He does have the adopted Avenger recolor. Then he did get the Incognito Dolphin variant. And of course, during the wintertime season, he did get the cuddly Fuzzlefin variant. And now he will also have this additional variant known as the Sunshine Land Shark. And for those of you that like to save a few units when buying cosmetics in Marvel Rivals, the good news is that XOX Leak over on Twitter did go ahead and confirm that these 2 will be sold as a bundle to allow you to save a few units. So if you're a Land Shark player, or sorry, Jeff player, and if you're a Wolverine player, and you like both of these skins, you'll be able to actually purchase both of them together in a bundle and save yourself some units. But that is not all. Like I said in the intro, this is going to be a 1 gigabyte update. So obviously it means that there is something significant being added into the game to warrant such a huge update file size. And yes, there is, because we're getting the all-new experimental mode titled Ultron's Battle Matrix Protocol. This is, of course, going to be the brand new TFT or Teamfight Tactics like game, the auto chess game mode for Marvel Rivals. It will be starting out on June 6th and will be going through up until June 23rd. So it is a limited time mode. It is not sticking around, at least as of right now. I'm sure that if, let's say, this thing launches and it becomes massive and let's say it does huge numbers, I wouldn't be surprised if they do actually rotate it to become a permanent stay in Marvel Rivals. But at least as of right now, what we have to expect for this to remain around for a little over 2 weeks. I'm still really excited to see how fun, or maybe not fun, this game mode will be. I did have a blast with Teamfight Tactics when League of Legends launched that, so hopefully this will be a very similar experience to that, but I guess time will tell. Now, speaking of telling you guys things, I feel like most of the time, the most exciting thing I could possibly say during one of these Marvel Rivals videos is free. We're getting a brand new free limited time login reward titled the Tic-Tac-Toe Spray. This one will be available starting with June 5th when the update goes live and ending with June 12th. So you'll have a 1-week window to add this one to your collections. And it says log in during the event period to claim your exclusive Tic-Tac-Toe Spray. Challenge your friends to a game of wits and strategy in the spawn room, or maybe even in the heat of battle. Well, this sounds like it's going to be a really fun spray because essentially from what I understand here, it's probably going to be like maybe the actual like board for the tic-tac-toe, and then you have circles and X's that you'd be able to, I guess, spray in one of the different boxes, allowing you to emulate a game of tic-tac-toe. It sounds goofy. It sounds fun. I can't wait to add this one to my collection, especially because, of course, with this new update, we will now be able to spray up to 6 sprays at once on the battlefield, which would justify being able to actually have a match of tic-tac-toe. So obviously these two things going live together makes perfect sense. And then in addition to that, there's another optimization that they will be implementing beyond the 6 sprays, and that is that Loki's illusions can now perform emotes with the real Loki during battle. Mischief multiplied, which sounds kind of interesting just in the sense that will you be able to use your illusions now, your clones, to like maybe use an emote to bait enemies into thinking that that's the real Loki or something like that. I feel like it might actually add a little bit of intricacy to the gameplay of Loki. And then we only have 2 other things that will be important to discuss with this update. First and foremost, they are enhancing the Jeff Nato team up profile story, which I'm not really sure what that means. I assume maybe they're just adding a little bit more of a text blurb to explain the justification behind Jeff Nato. Hopefully they're not making it any stronger. That move is insanely powerful as it is. And finally, the most popular part of updates, of course, like always, we have the maps and modes where they are once again fixing certain terrain issues in, this time specifically, the Hellfire Gala Krakoa map, where characters could become stuck or clip into strange locations. Once again, they are continuing to patch that and try to make it less and less of a prevalent issue. And like I always say, hopefully there will be one of these updates where this is no longer an issue. Now, before we wrap things up, I've got 2 other things that I did want to go ahead and discuss. First and foremost, look at this incredible gameplay concept by Jack Ward over on ArtStation for Gambit. We obviously talked about Gambit coming to the game with the brand new leaked voice lines that we saw, but holy moly, this person went ahead and actually put together some concept gameplay for what the gameplay for Gambit would look like. It looks pretty dang cool. Of course, this is all being done from the first person perspective, which is going to be different to the actual perspective that we would have in Marvel Rivals. But regardless, this is just so freaking cool to see. I really, really love how creative the community is for Marvel Rivals, and I cannot wait to see Remy in the game. And finally, last but certainly not least, I also did want to give a quick shout out to Marvelous Stop Motions here on YouTube, who essentially takes action figures like Mayfax or SH Figuarts, like, you know, the highly articulated action figures from the Marvel Universe, and then recreates the MVP or the celebration ending screens from Marvel Rivals using action figures. So here's a really cool one for Spider-Man. I freaking love this Moon Knight one. And this Iron Man one is pretty dang incredible as well. So there you guys have it. That wraps up today's Marvel Rivals update video. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for the brand new all experimental TFT mode or auto chess mode coming into Marvel Rivals. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what level of strategy it will involve. Hopefully it's quite intricate and makes for some really cool strategies possible. So we will see. Of course, we're getting one of the most highly anticipated comic book based skins in the Weapon X version of Wolverine. So that's going to be awesome. And we're getting a nice little slew of little fixes throughout the game as well. Oh, and of course, the free spray is always really nice as well. Now, like I mentioned at the top of the video, don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed today's update, scroll on down, hit that thumbs up button. Thank you guys so very much for your continued support here for the Marvel Rivals update videos. I will hopefully see you guys here on the next one. Peace out. I'll see y'all later, alligators. Bye-bye, everybody.